The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. It's Joel Elconin here with Monday's edition Pre-Market Info.
My name is Jacob here, and welcome. So this morning we've got futures running in a pretty tight range here. Joe, what are you looking at the futures right now? Looks like we really aren't moving a whole lot.
No. We bumped up against Friday's high, the all-time high in the contract at 17.05, and pulled back just a tad here. So we'll be keeping an eye on that number. It's the only number we have, 17.05. Coming back on the downside, psychological $1,700 level, a little bit of support there, but the major support comes in at Friday's low, Jake, at 16.95.75. And just keep an eye on that level because remember we had all those tops there last week and that kept a lid on things until we busted out, and that will now act as support.
We've got a little bit of movement in gold as well. It's sitting right above that $1,300 level, kind of around Friday's high. What do you think for gold on today's session, especially with the ISM number coming out today?
Did you notice that gold got a little pop when that unemployment data came out on Friday? It was wallowing in I believe the 1283 low, and I thought it was really going to crack and close under 1300, and then it got a pop when the number came out. I'm keeping an eye on the upside here if you're short the issue. 1317 was Friday's high. We got up to 1318.30. Just nestling here on the low of the day. No major support in the August gold contract until you do get down to Friday's low at 1283, but it just seems like it's going to inch its way down there.
We also do have some movement in Crude this morning, down almost 1%. Looks it's down about 0.85 or so, sitting around right at that 106 level. Joel, what do you think we're going to be able to hold that today? We've been kind of trading in a tight range between about 104 and 107 the last couple of weeks.
Gold did get going to the crude market here off the 6 o'clock open last night. You did pop up into the 107 handle. Couldn't hold that. Now we're just floating back down. I see the major support coming in here at the 105, 105.10 level. That was a low that you had from a couple days ago. So really no major support in the crude market until you get down to the lower 105s.
Jumping over to Friday's earnings, we had Chevron reporting that CVX EPS came in at $2.77, missing the expectations of $2.98. Revenues came in at $55.3 billion versus expected $56.01 billion. It's going to miss on the bottom and miss on the top there. Chevron's one of the big oils there. What do we think of the implications maybe for the S&P there with the drop in Chevron?
It's interesting you mentioned that, Jake, because, Exxon came out with the poor earnings and got tanked a little bit. Market rallied to new highs. Chevron comes out with weak earnings again. Doesn't bother the market. That rallies up to new highs. So I guess two of the top components in the index not having good earnings is not affecting this market, kind of like the honey badger market here. You made a low of 123.30, okay, on Friday. And then you rallied all the way back up. You closed just off the high of the day, 124.95 high, 24.95 settled, 25.10 high. Now you're just kind of hanging here in the pre-market. I keep an eye on that at 125 level. Wouldn't get too faked out because if you get up to that 125.5, you had two lows from Wednesday and Thursday. So 125, 125.5, a couple levels on the upside. Coming on the downside, 123.30 was Friday's low. That coincides with the low on July 12th at 123.04. So wouldn't get real worried about a major sell-off in that issue until you cracked 123. And just for the people that are pairing or trading the oils together, ExxonMobil, after its poor earnings, has put in a double bottom here just above the $91 level. You got two lows at 91.25, 91.34. Let's keep an eye on that. You crack 91 here. You could be trading in the lower 90s, and the next major support point is at 90.14, and that was low on July 3rd.
In other earnings news from Friday, we also had Cablevision. That's Charlie Victor Charlie reporting. EPS just crushed on the bottom line. It is 11 cents versus expected 4 cents. Revenues came in at 1.57 billion versus expected 1.58 billion. So a little thin there. Analysts are kind of staying away from this one right now. It looks like it's been trading in a real tight range there. What do you think of Cablevision?
Well, it was now it's trading in a tight range, but on Friday, man, this thing was all over the map. You made a high at 2016 and a low at 1782, and settled near the upper portion of that at 1961 here. So big range day here. Perhaps you get a day or two of consolidation within that wide range, and then get a move to the upside. I'm still keeping a real close eye on the 1850 level. It traded 1850 to 19 for several days ahead of the earnings, and the earnings shuck it out of there. So staying above, closing above 19, I like this issue to continue to go back up and challenge that 2016 high. On the other hand, you get some settlements below this 1850 here, and you could be coming back down to the 1782 level. But boy, that stock had a heck of a run into earnings. Got an additional pop off the earnings, and we'll see if the rally can continue in Cablevision.
Definitely a nice rally there. Rounding out Friday's earnings news, we had Eaton Corporation reporting. That's Echo Tango November. EPS came in at $1.09 versus $1.11 estimate, so a little bit of a miss there. Revenue's missing too, $5.6 billion versus expected $5.77 billion. Eaton's been kind of all over the place as of late, just bouncing up and down there.
Cheating Eaton, man, they did not satisfy the street on Friday in any way whatsoever. Open lower and continued down. Keep an eye, 65.40 was the low that you had on Friday. And then if you go back to July 3rd, you had a low at 65.51. Low couple days earlier at 65.55. So that 65.50 level is critical here for Cheating Eaton. Maintain that. If not, there's not a lot of support going through the 64, 63, and 62 handle. Coming back on the upside here. Going to have good resistance for the people who bought it Friday's high at 67.70 and a 2-point gap on that. But 65.50 is critical for Eaton.
Bouncing over to today's earnings, we do have KND reporting after the close today. EPS is supposed to come in at 33 cents, which is the 41 cents prior quarter. Revenue is supposed to be coming in at 1.47 billion versus expected 1.54 billion the prior quarter. So, what are you seeing for Kindred here?
Well, if you're looking to lighten up ahead of the earnings here, 1535 was the settlement, but you got a key resistance level on the upside here. Last three highs within 20 cents between 1551 and 1570 here, so it looks like someone's trying to wiggle out of some stock there. Did close right on the low of the day. That's not a good sign for an issue, closing right on the low there. So if it does take that low out, don't see much. Thursday's low, 1521. I don't think we have a problem with that. But the major support comes in between the five lows you had between 1466 and 1484. That should be major support if you're looking to cover short here ahead of the earnings.
Another company reporting this morning was Tyson Foods. That's Tango Sandy November. EPS came in at 69 cents versus expected 58 cents. Revenues coming in at 8.73 billion versus expected 8.64 billion. Tyson posting a nice report there, but it doesn't really look like it's getting a whole lot of a boost in the pre-market here from that.
Maybe the pre-market and the high-frequency traders are taking the month of August off here. Pretty muted activity. I just see no trades in this issue at all. Let's just go to the daily chart here. $30 would be really going to rally mode here. Three highs right around the $30 level. $29.99 to $30.05 are your three highs at the end of July. So we're keeping an eye on that is your major resistance. Your major support point here is going to be the $29 level. Three lows between $29.03, $29.22 there. Also had a low just under the 29 handle, $28.83. Chart doesn't look great on this one, Jake, though. I mean, it's coming way off the high that it made in early June, 33 and change. So Tyson Foods, huh? Not acting like the spoos for sure. Yeah, moving on to Facebook here, Jake. Piper Jaffray did up their target on that. Did get the close over the psychological $38 level. We were talking about that. What I did notice here in the pre-market in the Facebook, despite getting that upgrade, you got to pop up the 38.50 in the pre-market. But taking a look at the daily charts there, you had a couple highs right there as well. So if Facebook can clear that 38.50, the pre-market high, as well as a high from Friday, 38.49, then you get another leg up in Facebook. First close above 38, and since the IPO.
Get another rating this morning from Raymond James on Brinker International. That's Echo Alpha Tango. Bumping that from a former rating of outperform to a market perform rating this morning. While its price target looks like it's still sitting at $45. What are you thinking of Brinker here?
Wow, big day for that stock on Friday, going up and making a high over the $44 level. You got the 44.28, settled right in the 43 handle, 43.74. Boy, I tell you, I think the offers are going to start lining up a little bit ahead of that 44 level, 44.28, perhaps at 44. Coming back on the downside here, 41.72 was the low on Friday. I was holding the stock long in my portfolio. I'd keep an eye on that level. Takes out 41.72. You got a gap to fill in the rest of the 41 handle, and not a lot of major support until you get to the 3-day low at 40.12.
Another rating coming out of Deutsche Bank this morning is on Allstate, bumping that from a buy to a hold rating and moving that price target a huge amount there from 58 all the way to $57. Really, making a bold call there from Deutsche Bank. What do you think of this rating?
I'm not sure. Changing the price target by $1 is going to do a whole lot there, but 51.75 was your low on Thursday. 51.78 was your low on Friday. Double bottom there. If this downgrade is going to, carry any weight here, it takes out that 51.75. Not a lot of support. Gap to fill down to 51.50. But your next major support level for Allstate is the 3 and 4 day low, 50.75 to 50.86.
Do you see another rating from Deutsche Bank this morning coming on Chubb Corporation? That's Charlie Bravo, bumping that down from a buy to a hold rating. Now this one, they actually did move the price target, dropping it from $94 to $83. How about Chubb this morning? You think there's anything there?
Kind of bearish on the insurers here, the boys over at Deutsche Bank there. This one, same pattern here. 86.75 was your low from the last two trading sessions here, so I'd keep an eye on that. You break below there, not a lot left in the 86 handle. You come back down to a low that you had on July 26 at 85.55, but be interesting to see if Chubb can hold this 86.75, almost like a trading range day, Thursday and Friday, because you had Thursday's high at 87.61 and Friday's high at 87.50, and another high up in that 87.72 area. So period of consolidation for Chubb Corp, and let's see which way it's resolved.
After some serious strength in some of the social media names, do also see Yelp moving this morning. Looks like MKM came out this morning saying that despite the dramatic jump in valuation, they see no reason to sell the stock. And there it goes, up another couple percent, or almost 1.5% looks like this morning. So Yelp on a run again. Yeah,
the shorts are yelping again in this stock. What an incredible run. 59.35, the only number we can really give you on the upside. That was the all-time high. That was the high that it made on Friday. Coming back on the downside, I mean, if you can find support in this thing, I 52.60, that was yesterday's low, but to give you a little bit better number, what I would keep an eye on, after the release of the good numbers, these upgrades and stuff, I'd keep an eye on all-time high close, which was 57.02. So we'll see if that comes into play today to see if the shorts want to get out at the mark below that 57.02 level. Then you're dealing with the whole gap area.
Now, as it is a Monday, I think it'd be kind of impossible for us not to talk about Barron's at all. They put Netflix, looks like, on the cover this time around, and Netflix isn't even moving on this. I think this is the first time I've ever seen a stock thrown on the cover of Barron's and hasn't gone anywhere either direction. What's going on here?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they got interns writing the articles or something, and no one really liked the coverage here. I do see a good pattern here developing in Netflix here. You did have a little bit of the earnings disappointment. The stock sold off, but it's really been holding this 240 level. That's my bogey, 239.91. Was your low on the 25th. You had another low at 240.20. So I'm looking at that. It takes out that 240 level, and I think it's going to at least see 235 or perhaps beyond that. Coming back on the upside here, 250 is the resistance point. You hit 249.34 yesterday and 250 on Thursday. I guess this is just all related, to the content. Jake, do you watch any of those Netflix shows?
Yeah, sure. I mean, they've got Arrested Development and House of Cards, both produced in-house, and I know that they're talking about moving forward to do some more original content there. And I mean, looks like they're kind of, I think a lot of analysts think they're moving down the path of HBO or some of the other premium networks, except they're completely streaming there and not relying on any cable provider to get their content out there. So no worries like CBS has right now and getting blacked out by Time Warner Cable.
Right, and I went through the article, and it suggested that content is still king, advertising is still a big driver of revenues. So they were taking a look at Viacom as a possibility. Well, I wish they would have told me Viacom in last week's Barron's, because that stock had blew away. Well, no, the earnings were so, but they announced a buyback, and boy, that stock was off to the races. Made a high at 80.93 on Friday. Keep an eye on that. Fell back to settle at 79.17, which was kind of near the low of the day here. So let's keep an eye on the 79.17 close here, trading down 45 cents in the pre-market. The low Friday, 78.35. It takes that out, and you got a big old 4-point gap to fill.
They also mentioned Comcast, Time Warner Cable, and Disney as other plays in the sector. Not sure what you're thinking of Comcast there. It's CMCSA, a little bit of a longer ticker there. But they had mentioned those as a possible place in the space as well.
Yeah, you're like Dennis there. When you think I don't know a symbol there, you're kind of piping it in on me. No, I appreciate it. Not much of a boost here to the Barron's article in the Comcast. Did make an all-time high at 46.33 on Thursday. Couldn't quite get there on Friday. 45.89 was high. Settled right up near there. So we'll see if it can take out that 45.89 high, get up to 46.33. That's your resistance. It's interesting. You almost filled the gap on Friday. 45.39 was the low. So we'll see if that can hold. After that, you're looking in the mid-42s on this stock on the downside. And haven't looked at the House of Mouse in a while here. I'm sure it's been rallying around the rest of the market here. Taking a look at Disney here. Spiked above the $67 level. Kind of had a nice day on Friday as well. Settling 8 cents off the high of the day. Trading down a dime in the pre-market. So keeping an eye on Friday's high in the close, 66.51 and 66.59.
Well, rolling out the show here, we do have the S&Ps moving a little bit more now. Looks like we're not, quite as a flat market anymore. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of action this morning after all.
Well, you got the new highs on Friday, a couple points above Thursday's high. You got the all-time high close here at 1704. Historically, August hasn't been the greatest month for the market, but also the market's not supposed to go up like 37 Tuesdays in a row. So, who knows what precedents are going to be set, but I'm just keeping an eye on the 1705 level. We're trading 3 points away from that, so I think sellers are going to be stepping ahead of that level. Coming on the downside, I mentioned the 1700. You really got nothing there, but we're still in our rally mode until we crack Friday's low at 1695.75. Well, that's the end of the regular portion of our broadcast. We will now open things up to any questions that we have on our go-to meeting or in the Think or Swim room. First question we have here, why is Apple trading up? And did see some news. They got a favorable ruling on the shipment of phones there, so that possibly could be the reason. The other possible reason is my 465 weekly calls expired worthless on Friday, so now we're trading at 466. Stock is just since the earnings has been on a steady run here. Not the huge up days you had back when this thing went from 380 to 700, but you did hit 468 in the pre-market, backed off 2 points from that. We'll keep an eye on the dailies here. I believe we had a high around 469. Let me see if I can find that high for you. You did have, wow, you even got to go farther back on this here. You had a high at 469, I believe, 469.95 on March 25th. So psychological $470 level if you're looking for a target in Apple. Coming back on the downside, now that we've gapped up, you got to expect some support to come in at the close and the high, 462.54 and 462.85 was the high on Friday. And just one other quick note on Apple here. It did open up a little bit, and it came right back into the to the close and the high from Thursday before it took off. So perhaps you'll get a similar scenario today in Microsoft.